What's up and welcome back to the channel. The name is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads. Check out the links posted in the description down below to support the channel and consider joining the channel today. Thank you to everyone who supports. So today, a retailer here in Ireland decided to put out these tweets. Now, in fairness to this account, and I have scrubbed out the name just purely because I don't want them to come under fire from SJWs, because that's what these people do. It's unfortunate to see a company and a retailer understand the predicament that they're in now at the moment, and this predicament that they're in is something that has been highlighted by the likes of Ethan Van Sciver, Comicsgate, Eric D. July, Young Ripper, Nerdrotics, Az from Heel vs Babyface, myself, Yellow Flash, bounding into comics here. Nice one for the credit on the article that you guys wrote there on that one, thank you for that. And then you have a numerous amount of other people that are talking about the problems that are within the industry. And then you're seeing retailers now starting to understand what's going on. Not too long ago, this same retailer talked about the fact that they couldn't have any pre-orders for Black Panther issue 25 because there was no interest within it. Now just think about that for a second. Black Panther, there's no interest in pre-orders for that because people have fallen away from the industry due to bad writing and the people that they've hired within this industry causing absolute mayhem and spitting into the faces of fans. This is something that's done on a regular basis that is not being checked by the companies, and so what happens is fans just walk away. Now you've heard that right. Issue 25 of Black Panther in this store has no pre-orders. This is a character that hasn't had a bigger moment than he is having right now, particularly with such a box office that character received for the MCU. Now unfortunately they're going to have to pivot to see what they're going to do for Black Panther 2. But you're going to see a continuation of a character that allegedly is super popular but can't sell a comic book. So what's the problem? Well, you have to take a look at who's writing it, who's involved with it, what's the issues that are going on with it. And then as you can see, then people have just had no interest in this whatsoever. So you're looking at this here and it says Marvel has more covers for Heroes Reborn #1 than we have orders for the entire thing. This is going to be interesting. And for those counting at home, this is the most ordered cover so far. So the most ordered cover is one based on the artist, not the story. That's a sad sequence of events that have happened. And this is Marvel Comics, and I'm telling you now, Ethan Van Sciver has long predicted the downfall of DC Comics. DC Comics is well on its way out. Marvel isn't too far behind. Marvel have cancelled Doctor Strange's comic book, a character that hasn't had as much popularity as he's had ever before. He is now in the MCU, basically going to be leading the MCU from what I understand in the next couple of movies. Cancelled comic. Ghost Rider, another one with a cancelled comic. This is a character that they're looking to reintroduce into the MCU. Now, are they going to do it anytime soon? Probably not, because a certain country doesn't like skulls. So they're going to find it very difficult to reintroduce Ghost Rider in any sort of meaningful way that fans will recognise, because one certain country doesn't like skulls. So that's the situation that you're in now at the moment. That's what's happening now when a company's looking to bend the knee towards a certain place, rather than saying, wait, hang on, we have all of these people here that we want to cater for, we have all of these fans that we want to cater for, but no, they've no interest in it. This is coming hot on the heels, by the way, of the issue that has come up with Marvel Comics over the last week or so, which has been mocked so hard, it's been absolutely hilarious, and the response from Jordan B. Peterson himself has been absolutely wonderful. So just to break that one down, Ta-Nehisi Coates, who was writing Captain America, decided to base his version of the Red Skull off of Jordan B. Peterson. An absolutely ludicrous idea, because what he's trying to do is he's trying to put the Red Skull and Jordan B. Peterson into the same frame and basically make some sort of allusion and implication towards Jordan B. Peterson. Now, more on Ta-Nehisi Coates now in a moment. But what's happened is Jordan B. Peterson decided to mock it and decided to say, okay, yeah, well, hail lobster, and decided to put out merchandise which he's raised over $50,000 for a charity. Wonderful stuff. Now that's $50,000 that has been given towards charity to mock an attempt from a comic book company at basically slandering and defaming one individual. That's what's happened. That 50,000 could have been Marvel's if they decided to hire competent writers. That could have been Marvel's if they decided to hire competent people that have been writing the likes of this and the likes of Children of the Atom, which is an absolute nonsensical thing that they're going to do. So what you're seeing is now money that the companies are trying to tell people isn't there, and people aren't buying into their product. They don't know why, because there's no money there. That's complete and utter spoof. You're seeing serious campaigns, the likes of Ethan Van Sciver's campaigns earning over $1 million. You're seeing the likes of Shane Davis earning serious money. You're seeing the likes of John Mayall, Cecil, everybody within Comicsgate earning very good money. Eddie Winkler, someone who I interviewed on this channel not too long ago, earning really good money. And then these companies are coming out and saying, well, look, we can't actually see where the fans are. We don't know where the fans are and buying the stuff. It's because you're at this sort of nonsense. You're hiring people like that and absolute weirdos that have come in and ruined the industry in itself. The big two, in my opinion, unless Marvel gets a hold of itself and does a big clear out of people, which it looked like it seemed like it wanted to do with that hit piece that was on Dan Slott within the Disney Plus series, they are in very big trouble going forward. And this is a company that's in steady decline. The MCU was in very steady decline also. An awful lot of people turned off Falcon and the Winter Soldier after episode 2 with the nonsense that was happening within that. And that's what they want to push into the likes of the MCU. So you're going to see people starting to switch off. And these companies are all scratching their heads and saying to themselves, what has happened? Well, you've hired a man there, by the way, and as I was talking about earlier on, Ta-Nehisi Coates, to draw parallels between the Red Skull and Jordan B. Peterson. This is the same guy, by the way, that's going to be going on and he's going to write a Superman movie for J.J. Abrams. But wait, there's more. This is the same guy that was critical of firefighters and police officers in response to that September 11th attack. This is the guy that you have writing these comics. This is nonsensical stuff. How these companies can justify hiring a person with that sort of viewpoint is unbelievable. Now, I'm very much so open to the idea of people having different viewpoints, but when you have a viewpoint of the firefighters and the police officers being basically bad guys, then we're crossing lines there. We're having a problem right there, right now. And you have these weirdos that are in there and they're writing our heroes, and that's why people are not buying this anymore, because they know that the words of these people are being spoken through heroes that we have long cared for a very long time, and that we don't want to have any of it anymore. Another thing that these people want to say, and it's something that I will say that Yellow Flash definitely brought attention towards, was the fact that the Power Rangers book now that's on Kickstarter at the moment has earned over $1 million. Why is that? Well, what they've done is they've actually stayed true to the characters, respected the fans, and added in some new stuff towards the history of the Power Rangers. Brilliant. They've done really well. Now, we will be saying this. I am critical of some of the stuff that they have done within Boom Studios for the Power Rangers, but ultimately and overall, it's something that's been widely received well, and people that are behind it aren't causing absolute mayhem on social media. So you're seeing this sort of issue start to come up again and again and again, where you have comic book retailers coming out and saying, we don't know why anybody's not pre-ordering this. But the same retailer, by the way, will have exchanges and praise the likes of Kate's and Visaggio. It's baffling stuff. When you're deciding to do things like that and you're deciding to actively praise people that are causing harm to the industry, that are causing harm to your business, can you not see the bigger picture? The bigger picture is this: you need to pivot now and you need to look at starting to stock the likes of Comicsgate books, something that the likes of the mainstream industry don't want you to do. This is what you're going to have to do, because if you want any sort of reason to survive, it's going to have to be honouring creators that actually want to be delivering a good product for fans and actually want to be respecting the fans and don't want to actively annoy and irritate fans. This is something we've seen being a mainstay within Hollywood over the last couple of years, which is let's annoy the fans as much as we can and then be surprised when they all decide to walk away. Look at, for example, what The Rock has done with Black Adam. 7 years of build-up. Everyone's very excited. Decides to endorse people, starts talking about diversity and inclusion, all this sort of stuff, bang, out of it, no one's interested. Now, we will have people that will be interested, of course, but me, no way, not interested in that now anymore. Instead, what they need to do is, these companies need to get a very firm hold on themselves. It seems like DC Comics is definitely going through a big shake-up at the moment, probably going to end, and maybe even sell off its IPs to other people. Marvel's not going to be long behind, and what's unfortunate about this is a company that's been built by the likes of your Jack Kirby's, by the likes of your Stan Lee, these titans within the industry, huge names that are there, and the people that have come after them. And now, as a result, now because of bad writing and bad writers and bad attitudes from these writers online, people have decided to say, right, we're walking away from this. You can't have Cap acting like this, you can't have the Red Skull acting like this, because we don't agree with it no more. And instead, what people are doing is they're getting back to fun. They're getting to the likes of CG, where people are independent creators. And what you're seeing then is a consistent and constant deciding of absolute mayhem from these people to try and attack CG, because they know well that if fans don't like what's going on in the mainstream and aren't being poisoned by it, they're just going to move to CG, and independent creating is the way to go, because then that can't be affected by these people, and these people can't sell. It's on record many times before where they try to launch campaigns themselves and I can't even come close to the likes of what Ethan Van Sciver has done, for example. So that's the state of the comic book industry. People just aren't interested anymore. It's got nothing to do with money. It's got nothing to do with what's happened over the last year or so. It's got everything to do with what people are at and what they're doing within the comics and the way they're writing them. The writing has gone down the absolute swanny, and you're seeing some prolific individuals that are in the industry now and have since deleted tweets, by the way, that have realised, wait, this is a problem here. And I've also given my best ideas to this company that are just going to just turn around and absolutely wreck these ideas or consistently use these ideas, and I'm going to get very little scratch out of it. Something that Ethan Van Sciver has been talking about for a very long time now, and everyone wanted to say, oh, he was this and he was that. Not true whatsoever. He's been absolutely correct and he's been on the button every single time. This is bad news for retailers, and what you're seeing now, particularly with comic book retailers, is they've mostly become merchandise shops. So they have mostly become something very akin to the likes of a Hot Topic or maybe even a Zavvi or something to that degree, where they're mostly selling the likes of action figures of older, different types of characters that we actually like, not any of the new ones, by the way. They're selling the likes of statues of these similar characters. They're selling the likes of t-shirts, bags, pops, all of this. And then you look at the comic book section of these places, it's allegedly a comic book shop, and the least amount of things that they have within said shop is comic books. So what needs to happen is these retailers actually really need to turn around to companies and need to turn around to these people and say, what you're writing isn't good enough. These people should know their comics, and instead of kissing up to certain individuals, they need to be saying to these people, you need to really tighten up the writing here, the writing is not good, and you need to be coming at us with a better story. This is what needs to happen in the comic book industry, or it's going to go away. Now, I think it's going to go away, and I think that the irreparable damage has been done. As you can see here, no orders for it, 0. And then you're going to be seeing the same for them for Black Panther issue 25. No orders for that. People not interested in that. It's very sad to see that this has actually got more covers than it has orders, and that should actually tell you an awful lot about the industry. It should tell you an awful lot about what's going on here. And I would say to anybody, if they think people aren't interested in comic books or comic book related stuff anymore, go and have a look at, for example, the likes of Marvel Legends. That's something that sells incredibly well, and that they've chosen characters that are popular, that people like. I think something that's going to be really interesting in the future is to see how that Riri Williams figure sells, that Ironheart figure sells, because that is not a character that is beloved. And recently I've seen the likes of Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. That figure has shelf warmed and has gone on very deep discount. I would expect the same to happen to Riri Williams, because not a likeable character. You'll always sell Tony Stark Iron Man, you'll always sell Steve Rogers Captain America, you will always sell Thor and various other characters, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, absolutely. Other characters though, you'd have to say to yourself, will they or won't they? Most likely they won't, and it's because of poor writing. And now you're getting to see the industry is realising what's going on. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads. Check out the links posted in the description down below to support the channel. Consider joining the channel today, and I'll talk to you later. Good luck.